The crowd doesn't know if it's part of the act, and then as blood begins to pool from her, he stutters, and the curtains begin to shift closed.
Oh, God.
Hi, it's James from Chaosium. An audio glitch meant that we lost the first minute or so of this recording, but don't worry. We're playing House of Memphis from Mansions of Madness. The players are Art as Monkey, Jackson as Dr. Brad Fogarty, and myself as Isabella Watch, with Dave as our Keeper of Arcane Lore. Where the story starts, we're just heading across to meet a gangster that Monkey used to work for as a housebreaker. Remember to subscribe to the Chaosium YouTube channel, and enjoy.
As the three of you walk across the road, wetly stepping through the streets and into the dark alley, there's piles of sort of trash bags to one side, and a woman has just been let in through the fire exit by the large man as the three of you approach.
Do I recognize?
It's been a while since you were here. He seems one of innumerable goons. You could make a luck check for me to see if it's one from your time.
Sure. My luck is
Your luck's unlucky.
yeah.
Yeah. Give it a whirl. No downside. Yeah. All right. Definitely. Yeah. This guy,
Amazing.
Bull, worked while you were there, and the two of you were actually fairly friendly. Yeah. Well, Monkey, Bull. It works. He's a big bloke. Nicknames aren't hard. I can do them.
Hey, I didn't say Monkey was a nickname. It is. I also do know Monkey's actual name. Maybe that'll be a thing one day.
Ooh,
But times. How do you want to approach?
Yeah. I'll walk up and be like, "Hey, Bull."
He looks over you at first and moves to just send you aside, and then he put Monkey, and he leans down and wraps you in a hug before lifting you up and depositing you again and saying, "It's been what, 7-8 years since the last job, which went, well, poorly by some people's standards, but excellent by others. I got to thump a lot of things."
Look, I know you like thumping things, Bull. So, when possible.
It's nice when it comes up organically, isn't it? Listen, Mr. Vaughn's inside. I've set aside a table for you and your fine companions to meet with him. Excuse me, ma'am and doctor, I think. Don't mind the mess and the company inside. I promise you, you're safe as long as you're with Mr. Vaughn and with Monkey. But don't go nosing about.
No nosing about, understood? We'll
Just
see to it.
take your hats off. It's polite.
He opens the fireway exit, and you can see a set of stairs descending down into like a cellar. From within, you can hear loud jazz music and the waft of stale liquor. As soon as your first foot lands on one of the stairs, it's like sticky, descending into a club. And you begin to make your way down. Sorry, Jax, I interrupted you.
Oh, I just gonna say take my hat off.
As we just said, I always think me as a player, not Isabella, that you picture going into a speakeasy, and at the time that must have been like walking into a club with thumping like techno music today, right? I mean, it's not as charming as the that would have been the equivalent of like a heavy dubstep headbanging track.
Yeah.
Listen to those chords.
The classic jazz would have the oldies saying "kids these days," dot.
It's just no good, yeah. I mean, you go down there, I think you get a trumpet in an enclosed space, it'll blast your ears off. So
That's
I
true.
think there is a bit of some of the older investigators among us may be tutting to themselves. The three of you make your way.
Bradley. I'm down with the kids. I'm hip. I'm pretending to enjoy it. My ears hurt.
Well, it's no 19th century classical music composer, and now I'm coming blank. It's no Beethoven.
Beethoven.
No Debussy. It's no Stravinsky.
Oh, Stravinsky.
Satie?
Stravinsky's around now.
I think Satie's. Was Satie now or later?
Perhaps.
I've never heard that name in my life. Stravinsky, I know, is still around. He's an old fella.
He's kicking it in Paris.
Yeah, he is.
There you go.
All right, the three of you descend down the slightly sticky stairs, which then opens up into what is clearly a refurbished basement of a larger building up above. To one side, you can actually see like an open storage room with boxes placed. There are a series of small booths scattered around the outside, and they're all clearly improvised. They're planks which have been hammered together and then given a slap of paint, but they're a bit ad hoc and probably not up to any sort of code. There is a bar towards the back, behind which an older man with one eye missing is pouring a drink for a young couple. And again, it's like Sunday morning, to be clear, like just before like lunchtime. He's pouring a drink for a young couple who have leant against the booth. There are a few people about, rough looking sorts, and then towards the back there is a door which has been painted blue to mark it out, and then there are two more bull-sized goons standing in front of it. Behind this door, you know, Monkey, will be Mr. Orson Vaughan.
You keep some company, Monkey. I can't really picture you in a scene like this.
Don't touch anything. That's coming from me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are the two folks over there called? Is that one called Oxford and that one called Gorilla, or do they have more inventive nicknames?
Well, I assume they're following the Chinese zodiacs. That would be Rooster and Cat.
Oh, I see. Right. That does make sense. Okay, well, I propose that we are intensely respectful to the large gentleman.
I don't recognize these two, but they all generally Mr. Vaughan hires bodyguards that like hitting things. So I really wouldn't go around calling one of them a cock and another one a cat.
Yeah, I
noted.
Probably a good idea. So let's find out what Vaughan wants and get Monkey extricated from this situation as quickly as possible so that they can reevaluate their life choices and keep less colorful company, if they so choose.
For someone with 9 husbands, I don't really think you should be talking.
I have no husbands anymore, thank you very much, and I'm a widow. You can't make fun of me.
Yeah, I can. Card. I'll scurry over to the two gentlemen and be like, "Hi, Mr. Vaughan would like to speak with us."
Take a seat. I'll let him know you're here.
Do you want a name?
We know you're coming.
Okay. I really like your suit.
Thanks.
Scurries back over.
You can see they have very poorly concealed. They have pistols in holsters underneath it. You head back to the other two, and one of the gentlemen opens the door, steps inside. You can see like a puff of smoke, a cigarette from inside, and he steps into the darker room. Of the three of you, who is armed? Yep. What is it? Like a little Derringer or something? What kind of pistol do you have?
I have a 22 revolver.
Sort of
I've been out in the wilds enough to not care so much about remaining elegant. I think it's probably similarly badly hidden as these folks in suits.
Not just like in like a jacket pocket or something.
Yeah, I've got like a jacket wrapped around my dress.
Okay.
And it's inside the holster of the jacket.
Do you want to attempt to disguise it, or are you willing to let them see it? Because they are going to give you a once-over as you walk in.
Yeah, no, I think they can. I'm willing to let them see. If they respectfully request me to put it away, I'll put it away.
Okay, all good.
I will, though, while we're waiting, I am going to order a drink. We're in a speakeasy. I don't know if that's like a polite thing, but I'm just going to go for it in this kind of situation.
Yeah.
So I get myself a little drink of whatever bathtub gin they've got brewing up in the back.
It's shock and awful. You sidle up past the couple, and what they have is a tap of some sort of like awful beer, cheap wine, and then essentially moonshine, which will have been imported from somewhere else in the state. It's probably the most appetizing. leaning over the bar, you can see they have nicer reserves down the bottom, but they are not offering them to you.
Right. Yes.
And you get poured I presume like the moonshine is probably the most.
Yeah. There. All right. Well, it'll do the job. Make me look
It gets
cool.
you drunk, right? Yep. You can take it, and you've got your little drink as the larger man, not the larger, they're both large. I'm just going to keep referring to them as the larger one and just alternate which one each time I say it because they grow constantly. The large gentleman comes back out and says, "Monkey, company, inside." As you sidle past, one of them puts a hand on you, Isabella, before you can go in. Says, "Hand me the gun."
All right. Be careful with it. It's sentimental, and I will hand him the gun.
He takes it and slides it into a pocket, and then you're let through.
Is that a gift from one of the husbands?
Oh no! I bought this as a hardware store in the first session.
Things they can still be sentimental.
Yeah.
Walking into the back room, it's nicer furnished than the outside. There's a comfortable chair and some couches, which were probably stolen from elsewhere in the city. A low coffee table in the center, and a couple of like plants scattered around the outside. Mr. Orson Vaughan sits in a chair, clearly commanding the room. He's an African-American gentleman with short cropped hair, almost unfashionably so, wearing a nicely fitted suit and with a pocket watch dangling between two of his fingers as he assesses all three of you keenly as you walk into the room. A manila folder is folded over and placed on the table in front of him as you sidle in and sort of stand around, and he's got a briefcase to his right. With the jacket open, you can clearly see a pistol holstered underneath his left armpit. He pauses and lets you make your own introductions.
Morning, Mr. Vaughan. It's lovely to see you again. If you don't mind, I would like to introduce my cousin, Miss Isabella Watch, and my uncle, Dr. Bradley Fogarty.
A pleasure, sir.
This is Mr. Orson Vaughan, a very respected gentleman in his field.
That's right, and I've heard a lot of good things from the three of you. Monkey, it's been too long. Why don't the three of you take a seat? I'll arrange you something nicer to drink. Ms. Watch, pour that shit out.
As you command. So thank you. I will do as he says.
After a moment, the bartender returns and he's hoisted one of the far nicer bottles, and each of you are poured a drink, and he takes one himself, which he swills. I'm going to get right down to business. I'm not a man who likes to waste time, and time is burning. The three of you know approximately why you're here. Monkey, you owe me a favor. I'd like that to be squared up. I don't like sitting on these things for any longer than I have to, and your skills are going to be useful. As the three of you may or may not know, magic tricks are very valuable, and the better the magician, the better the tricks. Now, Memphis the Great, as implied by his name, is the best, and so his tricks are the most valuable. Mr. Memphis is out of town at the moment, so his house was looking vulnerable. 3 kids, the Learys, made their way into his abode. Next morning, turned up dead. Real grisly scene. I haven't gotten a chance to look at the bodies myself yet. The police are still holding them, but I had to talk to the mother. She's a mess. It's bad. I know these 3 kids. They were loyal to each other. They were loyal to their family above anything else. The police are ruling this as they killed each other. That didn't happen. It's a fucking lie. Someone's sitting on information. I don't know who. Detective Inspector Joe Edwards is in charge of the case. This man's normally a fucking bulldog. We can't shake him. He's sitting on it, and I don't know why. Clearly there's something above all of this. Undoubtedly, one of these fucking magicians was involved in it. They're all nuts, head cases. I can't say why, I can't say what they do, but what I want the 3 of you to do, Monkey, you're on point, but the other 2 are going to assist if that's your prerogative. I want you to find out what really happened. He leans over and takes out a pair of 3 tickets and puts them down. This is Memphis the Great's ex-protege, Harold Hawkins. He's dating Ingrid, Memphis's daughter. Undoubtedly, he is involved somehow, and given Memphis is out of town, that's going to be your point of contact. That's his show tonight, 8 p.m. at the Wilbur Theater. I'd like you to be there and start making inquiries.
Well, can do. Yes, that
Very
sounds.
succinct.
As you said, straight to business. We'll find out exactly what happened.
I'm glad everything's clear. Do you have any questions for me?
Out of town, I suppose. If you don't mind just getting a bit of background information, is there any more detail than that? Has he popped up somewhere? Has he got a show planned?
Little that I know of. He has a pair of attorneys called something or another, Pickler and Pickering. I don't know. Maybe talk to his daughter. She might know more. They'll probably have handled his arrangements. As I understand it, the man comes and goes.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And this, I guess we'll know more once we take a look at the bodies. But if you had to wildly speculate, sir, is your guess here that the three got a hold of one of the tricks and one of Memphis's assistants or snapped and killed them? Would that be the logical answer?
Look, I don't know. These head cases they're touchy about their tricks and their privacy. They don't let anyone see them, and maybe he booby-trapped something or another. I know he has an assistant, something Lynch. She comes in here sometimes, enjoys a drink or two. Scary.
She does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes some of the customers uneasy, but she's pretty enough that she gets other customers in, so we let it slide.
Right. Okay. Well, these are all good leads, and thank you very much for your time. We shan't take up any more of your attention, unless do either of you have any additional thoughts?
Psychology roll.
Go for it. Make a
That's what I'm good
psychology
at.
roll.
Yeah.
Is there anything he's not telling us? I wonder aloud.
Almost certainly.
Well, wonder.
I wonder
internally,
aloud.
rather. Not aloud.
I wouldn't.
This is probably a bit too much because I haven't made a psychology roll, but I think this man might be a criminal.
Well, let's not get carried away. With a hard success. That's pretty good. The man carries himself well, and he does veil his words. That said, there is fury bubbling underneath the surface, and it seems to be directed at whoever killed the Learys. He genuinely does not know, or else you're fairly certain that person would already be dead, and you would have never needed to been called in. With that, you're also fairly certain that if you share who did kill them with this man, he will have them killed.
Good to know.
Yep.
Mr. Warren?
Mm-hmm.
You just want us to find out what happened?
I just want to know who killed him.
And then we're square.
Then we're square.
It would be my pleasure.
Thank you, Monkey. Look, I understand why you're doing this, but the two of you, Doctor, Ms. Watch, is there anything I can offer you for your services?
Oh, this lovely drink was thanks enough. We're just happy to help Monkey and see this business put to rest. Speaking for myself, of course.
Yes, well, in this line of work, we tend to find certain experiences and information which are relevant to our interests as well. So the experience is the reward itself.
Very good. I don't like to owe favors, so as long as this squares us away, we'll consider the matter resolved. All right, well,
Understood.
listen. You know where to find me. If anything comes up, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Understand, if you want a meeting arranged with someone, I can probably do that. The detective inspector might be a place to start. Otherwise, the show's a good place to go.
No,
Oh.
yes, absolutely. We will want meetings. Sorry, you were going to say something.
No, you go ahead.
We will want meetings. The detective inspector, for sure. Do you have any way we could get a look at the bodies, or will we have to find a way to do that ourselves?
I do. He leans over and flips open the manila folder, and it's handwritten notes, which, as you spin them around, you see the detective inspector's daily schedule.
Oh my God.
He goes, you can find them there and then. And you
right.
can see like the cafe he goes to regularly. He is not offering you a legitimate meeting. He is offering you a chance to jump the gun
Yep.
and ask questions.
Yep. Okay.
As for the bodies, he turns a couple pages and it's the address of the police like headquarters or the morgue attached where it's being stored. And there's like underneath the name of the attendant who's attached to the case. And it's even, and he also says, and if necessary, I can get you some muscle to get in.
Okay, well, we'll hope it won't come to that, but thank you very much. We'll let you know.
Understand I don't break into police headquarters lightly, so only if necessary.
I utterly understand. Yes.
All right.
I assume you don't have a problem with me going into police headquarters lightly.
Not remotely, Monkey, because I know you won't get caught.
Excellent. All right, well, thank you very much, Mr. Vaughn, and we will be on our way.
Very good. All right, well, pleasure to meet all three of you. Monkey, good to see you again, and please let yourselves out.
We shall do so. Finish our drink before we go, as is polite. What time is it now?
12, midday.
So, all right. Okay.
The show will probably start. Yeah, the show will probably start at about 6 p.m. at the Wilbur Theatre, which is just a little bit uptown. But you've got a little bit of time, if you please.
Okay. Well,
People have palmed those tickets and put them away. Like,
well, we're back to it. Friends, family. Looks like we'll have to put our minds to another problem. I guess we want to get as much information as we can. It feels like the show is where we're going to want to be, so we should figure out who and how and exactly why we want to, what discussions we need to have before then. I'd like to try and track down this police officer. I'd also like to try and see the bodies if we could.
yeah, Edwards?
Pardon me?
Detective Joe Edwards?
Yes, that's
You
the
mean
one.
the DI, I could... Yeah.
Yep.
Then there's also the assistants. There's the daughter. There's the protege. I wonder who we can speak to of their ilk.
Well, I think the police is probably a good first port of call. He'll probably be able to tell us any other details that we don't know yet and give us more leads to follow up.
Do we want to split up to try and cover more ground?
Potentially. Don't know if I mentioned this, but I worked with Memphis for a bit.
Oh, well, that is interesting. Well, how did he cross you? Did he seem like the kind of man who would murder 3 people in a fit of rage?
You worked for him back in about 1917 or so, approximately. It was when you were younger. He was secretive about his techniques, very secretive. He clearly had a stage persona. While on stage, he persuades himself as like an heir to the Egyptian dynasty, and it's all Egyptian themed. Off stage, he's Axel Schwartz, and he's a very friendly guy. No, not a fit of rage, man. Very egotistical, but not capable of murder.
He thought a lot of himself, as most of them do, but didn't really seem the kind of person to murder 3 people in cold blood just because they looked at him funny.
I see.
The other aspect to consider here is, in our line of work in the last few years, the term magician does seem to have taken on another context. Is there any chance that this Memphis has found himself tangled in the same webs we find ourselves in?
I would presume that if you are somebody who spends their entire life looking for magic, as the 3 of us had learnt, it's not particularly difficult to find.
Well, yes, if you're looking, but not if you're simply chasing the stardom of being a regular stage magician. Monkey, does he seem like the occult kind of person?
I would call him driven, but I don't know that I'd call him fanatical. Although I wouldn't say that applies to all of them.
Right. Okay, well, especially if you're looking into the theater of, ancient Egyptian curses and powers and all of that. I think our best plan is to split up into 3 and to try. We don't have much time before the play, and I'd like to try and get through as much as we possibly could. Why don't we all try and hit two of our potential leads? I think I could quite well talk to the police officer. And then perhaps I could be even try and head to one of the assistants. Bradley, I think you'd best try and be around for the body. You're the only one who'll be able to spot anything and get anything out of it. If you'd like, I can rendezvous there with you, and we try and get you entry. We'll also have to want to talk to the lawyers. What does everyone think? Does anybody have a lead they think are particularly suited to their skills?
That sounds reasonable.
We don't know. I mean, we know where Mr. Hawking is going to be this evening, but we don't know where Ingrid is, and we don't know where Ms. Lynch is. And as much as I agree, we should talk to these people. We don't actually know where they are.
I mean, a phone book should be able to get us an address, perhaps.
If Lynch is the only Lynch in the phone book, and also if it's her name and not a stage name.
That's right. I mean, it could take some back and forth. How about this? Bradley, do you want to go and speak to the lawyers? I might try the police officer. And Monkey, do you want to try and see if you can track down the names? And after that, we can rendezvous and then head out for a second round of investigations based on what we've already learned.
Okay. Alternatively, I can help Uncle Brad with lawyers. If he can distract them, I can probably go find some records.
I don't mind that.
All right. Okay. Excellent.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. All right. As you leave the speakeasy, Isabella, your gun is placed on the table for you to retrieve, and you all step back up into the rainy streets. The clouds are beginning to break, and sun is shining again. And as I said, it's about midday. You have several hours before the show begins. You will also need to get dressed in time for it. The Wilbur Theater is pretty nice. It's a coat and tails kind of situation. And you'll probably want to have some time to get ready. So easily 4 hours of investigation, though.
Good to know. David, can I make a natural world check to see if an unnatural storm is rolling? No, I'm kidding.
No. It's in the cards. We can do this. One step from.
If we fail this, we're going to get a storm.
All right, I'm doing it. Ha! I'm pushing it to make a storm. Just creating atmosphere immediately.
You are unable to read it immediately. It seems like it's currently about to break, but who knows what will happen next. Isabella, you're going to go and intercept the police officer, and Monkey and Bradley, you're both going to the attorneys. Is that right?
Sounds good. These were Memphis's
Yeah,
attorneys?
that's right. And in his... in the information he gave you, where there will have been the address for Palmer and Pickering, attorneys at law, but you are going in without some information, so you will be bluffing a bit to, you don't exactly know who exactly is attached to the case, and blah 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 blah. All right, Isabella, can you give me a luck roll?
Okay, I absolutely can. Fail.
Holy shit, dude. Okay. Currently. The inspector will be on his lunch, and on Sundays, because he will have come in from the office, and Vaughn, who's been keeping tabs on him, knows he's been working weekends a lot regularly. He treats himself by driving north a decent bit to get his food. You can meet with him, but this will take up quite a bit of time. You'll be fine. That's just what you're doing for this chunk of it.
No, I'm going to for the whole 4 hours, or just for
Yeah, for the whole 4 hours.
Okay. Oh, God.
Just as, not that it matters at all for this role, but didn't we get a chunk of luck that is more than that number?
No, I got 7. 5.
We also remember add 15.
Oh, okay, all right, sure. It'd be easy.
From the cursed ring that's in your family line, thanks to Jackson.
Yes, I always forget about that one.
It won't apply to this one though, as noted.
Peek behind the curtain. This is how we don't all instantly die.
Okay, so
No, I'm realizing this. I go to this little cafe, and I'm going to spend some time in phone books trying to get an address and a fix on all of the other people.
On the others? Okay, makes sense. In that case, let's pivot that. Do you want to give me a library use roll? I think it makes the most sense for plugging this together.
Library use coming up.
As Jackson brings justice to chat.
He's got 3 spam bots at once. They lined their watches up and went, now deploy.
Biggest bad hammer in the West.
Zah.
That's a fail. Are there any that are obvious enough?
You will get some. So Memphis's home is listed. It's, however, you only know that because it's under his name of Schwartz. And last you know, this is also probably where Ingrid lives. So you have that address. Harold Hawkins is almost certainly a stage name, so you don't know his address. Josephine Lynch is not a stage name. And Monkey, you actually remember Josephine from your time. She was a beautiful but jealous woman. That is not a stage name, but there are a lot of them. And this will just take a bit of time to filter through. But Jim, if you're willing to commit, the time for it, you can get that info.
Sure. Okay. Well, I will see if the others come to meet me first, but otherwise, I wait at the rendezvous point, and I'm going through phone books as we are.
No worries.
To clarify, is the Great Memphis's actual name Memphis, or does he have?
It is Axel Schwartz.
Axel.
A-X-E-L.
Yep. Yeah. It's in the chat that I should have been looking at.
Okay.
Lovely.
In the chat?
I just put
in our chat, not in
the Discord. I just put
Twitch
the character
chat.
names.
Twitch chat.
In Twitch chat.
Oh, that's right.
Giving us theories.
Yes.
I don't know. Twitch chat. If you want to give us theories.
Oh, there it is.
Someone pull up the PDF.
Outstanding.
I have a theory. It could
Lost
be
Discord
fine.
for a while there.
Okay, so Monkey and Dr. Fogarty, you're going to the lawyers. Okay. You head into the sort of like the CBD. And
Downtown.
And you arrive at a like tall office skyscraper where a very prestigious legal firm, Palmer and Pickering, is located. Everything's sort of like glass windows, and they've got an assistant out the front. There's a couple of people well dressed who have been escorted into a side room and given sort of like coffee and pastries while they wait for their meeting. And as you linger for just a moment in the lobby, the receptionist rings the bell slightly rudely to get your attention and then says, I'm sorry, can I help either of you?
Yes, we were hoping to see someone about the Mr. Axel Schwartz. We understand he was his property was involved in a legal incident, and we are investigating the matter.
Are you police?
We're private.
Can I see some identification?
Certainly. I have something that says I'm a psychologist. I imagine. You probably have to have a license.
Consulted in the one-shot scenario. You have consulted for lawyers before.
That's true. Yeah.
That does not identify you as a private investigator, but you are right that you are a legitimate psychologist. Can you give me a credit rating test? And this is saying I'm the kind of guy you want.
I cannot do that.
Would you like to push it?
Sue him.
Because as it is, you put the identification down, and they look at it and they go, this doesn't say you're an investigator, and unfortunately, I can't let you look at any of the files or get you any more help unless you come back with a warrant, basically. You could push the roll, though.
I would be inclined to.
How do you think you might push the roll?
Give them the name of those lawyers that consulted with me last time. If you call them, they'll tell you exactly what you want to know.
Okay.
Leaving my fate up to these lawyers
up
that
to
I met
the
once
randoms.
a while ago.
I think they were part of like a family friend.
The lawyers
their
that
names.
also most recently had to spend a bunch of time protecting us from the sheriff of Gamwell.
It's the same ones. Yeah, I like that.
All right, let's go for it.
This is not going to go well.
No, it is
34.
not.
I can't do it.
Oh no, that got worse. Okay. She or actually sorry, I think it was a dude. Goes just a moment. Wheels away on the little chair to a phone. Just in like an office to the side. You can see him ringing. He like listens to the air, and then there's like the comical like as someone goes yelling out the other side of the speaker, and he goes, hangs it back up and comes back out and goes, no. I'm sorry, your contact was very clear. They cannot vouch for you. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. He noticed.
Is this enough of a distraction that Monkey could have disappeared in that?
Yeah,
it is definitely worth trying.
They had to go back into the back room to make the phone call.
Before you do it, again, you are in like a open area. They have a couple people around. Make a stealth roll. I would say hard, but I do agree that is enough for distraction that I reckon it's just a normal roll. So go ahead and roll.
I would gladly be outraged.
Oh my god.
Dude.
Oh my god. Straight into the back office.
Okay. As Bradley is being like a couple of people are being brought up to like wheel him out to the street a little bit. You're not necessarily resisting, you're just kind of limp fishing so they have to move you.
I like that.
Monkey, you go to like, they have one of those like old elevator things and you like just sidle into it, click a button, and as you ascend, two other people step in front of you. You're never seen. It goes ratcheting up stories towards and you can see there's like the brass plate with names on it, and one of them is the legal firm, and one of these people are getting off there. As the door slides open and they step out, it's a quiet office environment, a bunch of side rooms around people holding meetings and accountants. The place is lousy with them, wandering back and forth with manila folders and important pens, whatever lawyers do. And you can step out after the person, who turns around to like a coffee and break room. No one has seen you, and the place is so quiet, and it's all got like those stupid half walls. They're able to just keep on like ducking under and skirting around, and until you mess something up, you're unseen. No one has any idea you're here. You also do notice a fire exit to one side, so you've got an emergency bail if necessary. What do you want to try and do?
Is there a coat rack near the entrance where people like, hang up coats and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. It's a rainy day as well, so I reckon the person that just came in like unholstered a large coat and hung it up. They're all drip dyeing, and there's a thinking for umbrellas.
I was just gonna say, I'll like sort of take one of the coats that's less like a rain jacket and more just like an outdoor coat that someone might still wear indoors if they were cold, and I'll throw it on over my clothing so that if anyone does see me, I just look like another drab person who works in the office.
For a moment, they will see it. Yeah, it's enough to like buy it by a second. Yeah.
Also,
you could give me a disguise roll if you wanted to go further with it. Do you have disguise?
No, my disguise is base. This is more just like to its flavor to help with the one.
I'm totally fine with that.
But yeah, I just want to go and see if I can find filing cabinets of records. It's really, really what I'm looking for.
Okay. You skirt around the outside, and then as someone is exiting a room that is normally kept locked, they hear someone else sort of call out, like, hey, how you going? And they turn to respond, and you slide past them and into the room. You are going to hear them close the door and lock it if you're willing to commit to this. Okay. You slide in, the door closes and locks, and the lights are off. You're in a room with a little bit of ambient light filtering in from outside, and there is a high window on the far side, small enough that most people will not be able to get out it, and it doesn't open. You'd have to break it. There is a bunch of metal filing cabinets all throughout the area, arranged in some arcane way. Alphabetical. I don't know. I don't know. I suspect they probably go beyond just that. Like, there's a bunch. It's filing, and you have to figure out a way to go through it. Library use makes the most sense for me, unless you have another skill that you'd like to argue.
I mean, I'm looking. I think I'd honestly, Monkey, probably just try and spot where like S to T is, and just like look through it. I think it's based on the current situation and the fact that I'm very stealthy and quite quiet right now. I think Monkey thinks they have time.
I agree. I think you do.
So I think spending time on this is fine.
Make a library use with a bonus dice, and you may need to push the roll. Never mind. Well, it doesn't get better than that, so let's leave it there. Okay, yeah, nice.
Amazing.
Oh
Holy
my
shit.
God.
Yeah, you go. It's probably alphabetical, and lo, it is. You go to the big one labeled S,
Oh.
filter through a few, and you quickly arrive at Schwartz. One thing you notice is that there are 2 files for Schwartz. There is Axel and there is Ingrid, which is his daughter. Opening up Axel's file, you see that he has worked with these attorneys for years. They help to coordinate with his like PR team, I guess, which is a group called Hanny and Co. And there's a record of communications between them where they asked after Memphis or Mr. Schwartz, as in Hanny and Co., who should be organizing where he is, asked Pickering if they knew where he was, and they said there's no response, but they were inquiring, which seems to imply they don't know either. He's done business with them for a long time. He is clearly incredibly wealthy. Additionally, there is sign from Palmer and Pickering that they have been in extensive communication with the police, particularly with Detective Inspector Edwards, and that there was an exchange in cash for that, which was deducted from the Memphis account. Additionally, you can see that his daughter has inherited a lot of money. She has her own property. She doesn't actually... she doesn't have her own property. She currently lives with Hawkins, who is her fiancé.
What is her, what's her... Yeah, what is the name listed against Hawking in these files? I'm assuming it's not Hawking because you just said that's his stage name.
No. It is Mr. Ryans. Andrew Ryans.
Mr. Andrew Ryans. Really?
Apart from that, you have a fair bit of insight into his accounts and things. Is there anything else? Oh, there are 2 caretakers on staff at the at his home. There is Caleb Madison, who sort of is the gardener and caretaker, I suppose, and there is a cook who comes in most weekends. The gardener was the one that found the bodies when he came in to check on the place, and Marianne Hope, who is the cook and cleaner, has not come in since she discovered that Memphis was away on a holiday or trip.
Okay. Is there...
one big one. Sorry, they have a key to the house on the file.
Oh, okay, that makes things easier.
Both the staff.
They have it, as in the lawyers have a key.
The lawyers have a key, yes.
Well, then obviously it's getting pocketed. Not that I really need a key to get in places, but it just makes it a bit quicker.
Is there
and
anything else?
I will leave Dr. Seamus Quinn's pocket watch in exchange.
Okay, all right.
Because I still have that.
Which is, to be clear, from
a
another
different timeline.
Yeah, that's a pretty good present.
Either that or they get a diode from a time machine that they know nothing about. But I feel like Monty's gonna hold on to that one for special occasions.
Just for the time being.
If there's a set of paranormal investigators who have to deconstruct what happened to us, like I can imagine a set of cops who were like, there was a strange event with a fire that, like in the first scenario, and someone going mad on the street, and then a house collapsed mysteriously, and there's the same group of 3 going all through it. They would have a weird time, they'd keep going through it. Why is there a diode here?
What are they doing?
Well, yeah. Also, diode doesn't exist in this timeline, which is great because none of that.
Oh god,
None of it
I
happens.
was afraid. We get into this.
Anyway, yeah. I'll
don't
door
have
as well.
time, literally.
I'll take the key. No more time travel. Is there anything worth noting outside of that Ingrid, cousin Isabella. Ingrid doesn't have her own estate yet. Is there anything interesting in her file?
No, I don't believe it. It's more that just she's moved out of her family home and she now lives with Harold Hawkins because they are to be married.
Living together prior to marriage.
How bold.
Magicians.
Is Mr. Ryan, does he look like he also uses these lawyers, or is he referenced more as like, this is just another person?
Just a contact. He does not use them. And you could confirm that by checking their files.
It's fine. Do I have a value for the amount that was given to the police?
Yeah, it'd be few thousand. Significant.
Given to police to do what?
Unclear. But the timing lines up. It is while Schwartz was away, and it was following the discovery of the burglars. So within the last few days.
Oh.
So the implication, at least as far as Monkey can say, is that the lawyers have paid off the police, which might be why.
A few thousand might be high. Maybe like 1,000 or thereabouts. Yeah, bribery kind of scale.
Yeah. That's what I was like. It's not like $50 for.
That's right. It's more significant.
Bribery money. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. I think that's reasonable information to get us some more leads. Like, we now know who to look up in the phone book if we want to go and see Hawking outside of his production. Also, I imagine it's been some time at this point, so I should probably sneak on back.
Right.
I'm going to attempt to pick the lock of this place and just sidle on out, and no one any the wiser, hopefully.
All right, can you give me a locksmith roll? You can take a bonus dice on this one as well.
Oh,
Dude, you're a gun. Yeah, no.
extreme. Oh my
Easy.
god.
A few deft clicks, and it has like, this office is protected by, locksmith company on the front, very proudly plastered. And you go, shit, click open. You slide out.
I know
and
these guys. No.
Make your way to the elevator. Depositing the coat back where you found it. You slide in past. Okay, keeping the coat. You slide in past, hit the ground floor, and make your descent. No one is aware that you're there. And a few moments later, Bradley, you've been on the street for a bit, waiting. You assume Monkey
I
got
realized this was the plan, and it was executed flawlessly. So I was probably just standing there shouting at the receptionist for a little while longer. Going, this is outrageous. A man of my experience and my stature, why I have half a mind to contact my lawyers and so on and so forth.
Yeah. As you're mid tirade, you realize that Monkey's standing just, next to your right elbow.
And this isn't finished. Let's go.
All right.
Okay.
The two of you step back out into the rainy streets, and a few hours of, probably a couple hours getting there and getting back and stuff. When you reconvene with Isabella in the cafe, it is now 3:30, 4 in the evening. Afternoon,
I'm like sitting there with 4 cups of coffee. I've gone through 60 Josephine Lynches. There's still another 40 to go. It's taking a while.
You like my coat?
I do. Have you been shopping?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as long as all right. Well, did you find out anything? Were the lawyers helpful?
Reach into one of my sequestered pockets and just pull out a key.
They were more helpful than they know.
Broke into a lawyer's office. That's incredible. Some kind of critical role would have been required for that. Anyway. Well done. Look,
I have a very specific set of skills.
Yes,
and apparently today I'm very good at those skills.
Good news.
Well, so I don't know for certain, but based on the amount, it looks like the lawyers have bribed the police.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Which might explain why the case is being kept under wraps, as Mr. Vaughan suggested.
Actually, that's probably good news. We might be able to talk to the police and say, if this character, who usually goes hard, you know, is a bulldog. He might be being held back by his you know, superiors. We might be able to go to him and say, listen, we're private investigators. We know that you're being held back. If you tell us the truth of what happened, we can try and you know, help.
That implies, of course, that this particular police officer has morals and ethics that are being held back, and isn't just a case of
he isn't receiving the bribe himself.
That's true. Well, it's irrelevant at the moment because he's up. He drives north to have a little luncheon every Sunday. And what time does he get back?
He'll probably be back.
Files.
He will be back in the office now, but he will be, you know, deep in the police department. Getting him out would require going to the office. You don't have the chance to just bump into him on the streets and have the upper hand. This would be just going to the police at this point. So you know where he is, but it's, you know, the front door, not the back door.
We're getting we're running out of time to get ready for the performance tonight. So perhaps we can speak to Mr. Hawking and Miss Schwartz, and then, you know, see what we can find from them before.
That's not a bad idea. Maybe we should split up. Maybe some of us can go to Hawkins and Schwartz, and the others can go to
Well, we're going to the show.
Hawkins will almost definitely not be at home.
Oh, that's a good point. Well, then perhaps we just
free
go.
tickets.
Yeah.
Why don't we go to the police quickly and then split and get ready for the show?
If we have time. Do we have time? Or are we running? Like, 'cause you did say we need.
So it's about 4 now. Show starts at 6. You're cutting it pretty fine.
We'll hurry. You know, we'll go quickly.
You can
Okay.
do like get to the police station, quick 10-minute chat, get out. You're rushing through your preparations, and then you're still at the show early. You know, like you've got buffer. It's just you risk turning up a bit late.
Perhaps it may be more worthwhile to set up an appointment during work hours with the detective, and then at least we can have a more comprehensive discussion.
I suppose so. It's a shame, and we won't have a chance to get a look at the bodies either. But such is life, I suppose.
Tomorrow's another day.
All right. Well, then let's take our time, prepare, and head over to the show. May as well make sure we look perfectly flash and fine for it.
All right. Where are the three of you staying currently? Have you rented a hotel? I imagine for the weekend.
We're in Boston, aren't we?
Boston. Yep.
We live in Boston. We got the old place across from the
Yeah. So you want to
Corbett
head
house.
home?
What are we staying? Are we all staying at the family estate?
Or if you stay in the city, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Yes, I think best we see old auntie.
It'll be nice to see Grandma again.
Okay. All right. So yeah, the three of you can hop in. I think Isabella, you drive, right?
Yes.
All right. And you all head back home, going away from traffic. It's sort of like a Sunday, so you're fine getting out. You pull into the driveway. Across the street, there is a burned wreck that has still not been refurnished. This happened years ago. At this point, it's now like, this
2
happened in.
years?
I think
okay.
2 pushing 3 now.
Okay.
More than enough time for things to begin to be rebuilt. It has been knocked down. All the wreckage has been towed away. Now it's like an empty lot that sits quite ominously. The overgrown garden inside the greenhouse has swelled in size, and it's all cracked and dirty on the interior. The local children take to daring one another to go out onto the property because the whole thing is very cursed. It's a
Hopefully
creepy
not eat
place.
the vegetables.
Yeah, hopefully. It's a very cursed place. But Bradley, your mother opens the door and hugs you, and Isabel and Monkey in turn takes you in, and is attempting to get you to eat dinner before you go, as you're all like trying to get coordinated and get dressed in your duds.
There's no time, woman. We must leave.
As she puts plates in front of you and just tries to make sure that you're fed and comfortable. You all have beds arranged for you when you return this evening, and then she compliments you on how handsome you look in your fancy attire. You're all dressed to the nines. Where are you keeping your guns and bullets and bandoliers and things? What equipment are you bringing?
I don't think Monkey has fancy. I think Monkey has show.
Monkey might not be let in.
Monkey has show attire.
Yeah? What's that look like?
Well, think about what a magician would wear on stage. It's Monkey. Like, literally just has, I'm a performer, fancy duds, as opposed to tail fancy duds.
And that works.
So, hopefully, if no one's looking correctly, I'll just mistake Monkey for someone who belongs
It's
in the
supposed to be there. Okay, sure. So you're possibly going to try and not go in legitimately.
I mean, I've got a ticket, so I don't care.
Yep. All right.
Friend of a friend.
Bradley and Isabella, you both have Bradley, I imagine you wear tweed most of the time. Do you have a nicer suit? Do you have a tux?
I think I pull out. I've just put a photo in the Discord, as well as my interpretation of Monkey's photo, which I'm sorry the viewers can't see. But I think Bradley has like an old 1890s vintage coat and tails from his university days that he managed to pull out and beat some of the dust off.
Yeah,
so,
that's perfect.
Around the same time
Do you
as
still
the toga
fit
party
into
era.
it, or is it a little tighter
it's a little
than
tight
you?
around the gut. Yeah, I'll be the first to say that, but I'll suck it in and
That's
soldier
what the
on.
cummerbund's for, or whatever, right? Isn't that for hiding paunch?
I guess so. All right.
Is wait, is cummerbund the right one?
Cummerbund.
What's the
I
this
have
dude?
no idea.
Yeah,
I think it's a cummerbund.
Yeah.
Yeah, Benedict.
Yeah. All right, perfect. You get out your tails, beat the dust off it. Your mother just adores it. Isabella, do you have something for the occasion? Otherwise, any of you could have stopped in at a department store on the way back. Like,
No, I have a like a nice 20s dress. I think I'm still young enough that I try and keep up with modern trends, even if I'm a little bit off. Like maybe
Like a flapper dress, that kind of thing.
I think the flapper is a very specific scene, but
Yes.
in that
that's your like
direction.
clubbing.
Yeah,
kit.
yeah, exactly. But no, I would have like a full formal dress. And I've got like a clutch purse. If you open it, there's just a heavy gun sitting inside.
That's it. Okay, the gun and the ticket, and that's all.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Got the tickets. It's fine.
All right, we're good. Okay,
also, yeah,
perfect.
Monkey has like so standard attire is very like mishmash, but Monkey does have like if they were to perform, they have costumes that match each other. But as with all things that Monkey has, lots of hidden pockets. So I don't have a bandolier of knives, but I definitely have a handful of knives slotted into like boots or
Miscellaneous.
yeah. So I definitely don't have my full stash, but I've got enough.
Yeah.
Like 5 or 6 hidden about
Noted.
my personage.
Okay, perfect. So, Isabella, you're carrying your handgun with you.
It is pretty funny, but I actually probably don't have
I
it.
don't know. It's up to you, man.
So I
It
don't
is-
think it's a bad idea.
I
It
don't
is
either.
as long as no one checks the purse, you're fine. But as soon as someone does, there's no way you can delicately put like one handkerchief over it. Like, don't look under. You may need to make a roll if you find they are searching people.
A gentleman should never look in a lady's purse. Surely.
And them's the rules.
I'm not gonna bring the gun.
Wait, hold on. You've got a nice dress on. It's not skin tight because that wouldn't have been the thing in the 1920s. From what I understand, just put it in your garter.
Of course.
It's a big. It's like a heavy revolver or
okay, yeah, so
something.
it's
Like
like-
I think.
You don't have a derringer or something? Just like a dainty little.
I've got
Nothing about me is
Yeah.
dainty.
I've got pockets.
You would like to take it,
Stash it with
Bradley?
you can stash it with me if you like. Something goes down, I'll hand it to you
I'm
quick
just saying,
smart.
that is
to be
no
clear.
better a disguise than the purse.
No?
Like that's
Okay.
just in a pocket. Like they're gonna see it weighing down and they're gonna search. Like I'm just saying, as long as you're not searched, you can have it on you lightly obscured. If they search
Yeah.
you, there will be a roll.
I don't like the number of times you've said that.
Why would they search us?
It's just no one's gonna assassinate a magician. It's fine. They don't have like.
Listen, one of our country's presidents was killed inside a theater. They're dangerous places, and they'll be checking for guns.
Is the president gonna be there tonight?
He should hope not, because I've got a gun.
Isabella's got a gun.
Are you
I'm
bringing
not
the
bringing
gun?
it.
Ah,
That's final.
Alright. Okay, Monkey's got a lot of knives scattered about their person. You all look dressed to the nines, and as what did we say? Rainy. I think it's like autumn or something. You begin to drive out. It wouldn't be getting dark yet. The sun will set after you arrive. So at about 5:30, you pull up to the Wilbur Theatre. Back in Boston. You've done one of those awful trips where you just feel like you've spent like 3 hours getting ready and coming right back to where you were. If you'd coordinated, you could have saved the time and you could have gotten a snacky. But that's all right. There are crowds gathered around the front.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah, you know when you go and you're like, now we gotta go all the way home, back in on the train. What a pain. A little bit of me leaked into that one. It is this tall, like colonial style building, and there is a crowd of the audience gathering out the front and just talking, gossiping as they begin to be let in. This place is not going to be filled to capacity if this crowd goes through. They are nicely dressed and everyone seems excited for the show. The Hawking's name still gets a bit of a buzz, but it's not packed to the gunnels. And as you begin to filter in, you can see there's plenty of elbow room. People are forming into small groups. One other thing you notice is, Monkey, you are not alone in your entertainer's garb. There are several other magicians or performers that are there as audience that are going to be going in and seeing the show as well.
Yeah. There's a lot of fancy people around here.
Yep.
What do their pockets got?
Do you want to give me a sleight of hand roll?
Yes, I do.
See, you're searching them and you're going to find a bunch of guns. I'm keeping an eye out for President Coolidge, because if he's here, we can make him...
Oh, is it sleight of hand or spot hidden? Sorry.
Sleight of hand.
Oh,
The best.
Oh, God.
crits always come due.
Oh
yep.
boy, okay. You go moving through a couple of pockets, just having a see what's going on. Shiny bauble here, shiny bauble there. One of them's got a gun. And then you feel a hand clap down on your shoulder, and
no.
one of the theater security has grabbed you and said, "All right, little fella, you're coming with me." And they grab you and begin to pull you away from the crowd and towards like a back room.
Okay, can I get out of their grip and disappear?
You can try. Give me a
Dodge?
hard dodge roll. Would you like to push it?
Ooh.
What's the penalty for pushing that?
Pushing it is basically actively flailing and getting attention, as they were just trying to remove you without making a scene. This is making the scene as you flail against them and try to be freed. That said, also with the fumble, the person, like, you were caught with your hand in their pocket removing, maybe not to take but just to inspect, but you were taking like the wallet or something just to have a look when they've got you. If you're flailing, you still like got it in your hand. Up to you. But if you succeed, you've made a small scene, but then you might be able to escape in the distraction.
No, I'll if I like wriggle and I can't get out, then I'll just go.
Okay, you wriggle a bit, and he grabs your hand and wrestles the wallet from it, passes it back to the patron, and says, "I'm sorry, this will be dealt with." And then you are disappeared backwards. Isabel and Bradley, can you both give me spot hidden rolls? Actually,
Yes.
Actually, no. Before you do that, what were you doing? Because there's a good chance you may have just seen this if you're keeping an eye on people. Were you just mingling?
Were we just filtering through the crowd? Yeah.
I was going to be mingling and making conversation.
Yep. So you're just having a chat.
Yep.
I'm turning down the music. Just got to blast my ears.
Yeah,
and
no,
then,
I'm just turning it down on this side as well.
I think I'd probably be keeping an eye on Monkey. I'll be honest. I'm not much of a mingler.
In that case, as Isabella goes through and falls into idle chatter with a few of the patrons waiting to be let in, the doors open, and then you hear a as Monkey gets dragged backwards, an apology from the guard, and then you can see them going to a like staff entrance along the side. They go through the door and it clicks shut behind them.
I'll go and knock on the door and try to talk Monkey out of this.
Okay. You head over to knock on the door, and another one of the guards comes up and will stop you from approaching and says, I'm sorry, sir, this is for staff only. The show's about to start. Why don't you go and find your seat?
Well, I'll just be a moment. I've just had a family member be taken through these doors, and I'd like to ascertain the details of the situation.
The child's with you?
Yes.
I'm afraid they were found with their hands in someone else's pockets. We take thievery quite seriously here at the Wilbur Theater.
Well, I do sincerely apologize. I thought this would be the one night. They've been so good, and I thought a magic show would be an odd reward for good behavior. And I am distraught and devastated that it has come to this, and I sincerely apologize for their actions. I would go in there and discipline them at once and make sure they don't cause any more trouble.
All right. Do you want to give me a? It's not
Persuade?
Really, I can see persuade. Yeah, persuasion. I am going to make it.
Oh,
Actually,
you would, wouldn't you?
I'm struggling with making it hard. Before you roll, Monkey, inside you don't hear the conversation because you have been pulled backwards. They've got like one hand on your shoulder and they're leading you through to a back room, clearly like just stock and things where they store things. But there is a larger section off to the side where objects are all under tarps and cloths, and there are two Rottweilers with like collars on and chains driven into the walls. And as soon as you go into the room, the Rottweilers look up, and when the staff member, the guard, moves towards them a little bit, their ears go back and their teeth begin to bare a little bit, and then he notices and moves back away. He said, don't worry about them. As long as you don't approach the equipment, you'll be fine. Listen, you can't steal things, okay? This is a nice establishment. I don't want to find you sneaking it up the street. Where'd you even get this clothing? Did you steal this as well? Is this from one of the performers?
No, this is mine.
Okay,
I'm a
and
performer.
you're a performer here, or you're just a performer in general?
I'm part of and I'll give the name of the traveling circus that goes around Boston that
Okay.
I've been part of. I don't know. I can't make a one on the spot,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But
Rummy
the
and
traveling
Sons, something
circus of
like that.
Boston, TM.
Yep. He goes, well, that's no excuse for thievery. You understand this is serious. We're going to have to get the police involved.
I wasn't thieving. I was looking for things that would make an interesting addition to, sorry, not addition in like taking, but as part of a show. We like to know what people have in their pockets that we can ask for them. So it looks like we know what they've got, which is technically true.
Fair enough. All right. Can you give me a fast talk check? And it's definitely going to be hard.
Fast talk is base. Like
It's worth trying. Just go ahead and that'll set it to see how Bradley's approach seems. You've rolled well so far. Ooh. That traveling circus you went with, they haven't been around for a while, and they were disbanded because of thieving. It was just they were just known to be just crooks. And as this happens, the person tumbles down and begins to, like, Bradley, you can hear yelling from the other room filtered through the doorway. It's only because you're so close you can hear it, as they launch into a tirade about how this place has been, they've had thieves come through and they're going to get the police down. The guard is going to stay with you, but he snaps his fingers towards a passing attendant and has them call for a beat cop to come down. Bradley, do you want to go ahead and give me your persuasion check?
I will. Can I have a brief sidebar to discuss the fact I've just found Circus name generator on fantasy name generator?
Can you give us one, please?
Baroness McFarlane's Wanderlust Circus.
All right, that sounds like the sort of thing that gets banned.
Circus. Okay.
Is that the
Perfect.
Lord Foreman's Cirque Eternity?
This
Or I
is
guess
pretty good.
if you want to make it French, it'd be Cirque Eternité, right?
Cirque Eternité. I like that one.
Eternité.
They're telling
Was it
you,
a
yeah.
baron? Was it a baron?
I've already refreshed it. It was like Baroness McFarlane's Wanderlust Circus.
Hell yeah. All
That's
right.
not a bad one. Or Mr. Carlson's Circus Mania.
Let's do that one.
The
All right, Mr.
Pandemonium Big Top.
All
These
are
are
good.
all great.
All are good. All right, Jackson. So do you want to go ahead and give me a persuasion roll?
I will. Here it goes.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, the rolls today. Zing, zing, zing. Bumble, crit, bumble, crit.
Okay. All right. All right.
All right. Good talk.
The person you're talking to goes like, look, I know. I got a troubled kid as well. In and out of juvie, dealing with drugs. I mean, the kid, he's dropped out of school more times than I can count. And every time I drag him back, I try to get him back. I say, you know, society, you gotta, you know, you can't give up on them though, can you? You can't give up on them. You
There's
go
a
in
spark
there
of good in there somewhere.
and you get your child and you get them to safety. And tears are beginning to well as he opens up the door. You walk down as Monkey is being berated by this bloke. And as he's beginning to yell, he's aggravating the dogs, which is beginning to go in the same room. It's just chaos back here. Someone's had to come in, and it looks like they're like an assistant, and she's coming in, she's going, I'm sorry, but we're trying to get a show to start. Can you all shut up? As Bradley, you come into the room. So Monkey's being berated, the guard is yelling, the dogs are barking, the assistant's trying to get everyone to calm down. Bradley, what do you want to try and do?
Just call out at the top of my lungs, Monkey!
The guard stops for a moment.
You come back out here at once. Thank you, sir. I'll take it from here. I am their legal guardian, and I'll make sure this is dealt with as best as possible.
He goes to say something, but the other guard walks over and puts a hand on his shoulder. And Monkey begins to walk towards you. The guard says, "You make sure they're punished, and I don't want to see them in the performance. They're not to enjoy their evening of magic and entertainment."
I fully understand. I assure you, they will not be in the audience tonight.
All right. They say you could. They don't want to let you back out into the crowd, so they say you can be let out this way, and they lead you towards a back exit. As you are escorted,
Even better.
so it's Bradley and Fogarty. One of the guards is following you, the more sympathetic one. You walk towards a back exit. As you do, you pass what is the behind the scenes section of the stage, where you can see the curtain is still down, and you see the magician, Harold Hawkins. He is a very handsome man. He basically gets by on his charisma for a lot of it. And he's currently standing in front of a mirror, touching up his makeup and going over a couple of lines. The assistant has returned to stand next to him, a pretty brown-haired woman who is going over some of the equipment and just double-checking things. There are two large boxes to one side for one set of tricks, and you can see a whole like bench underneath which are like pots and Arabian inspired like design stuff. Decoration is what I'm looking for. You then pass like the green room where people can get ready and store their personal equipment. One of them is clearly marked for Harold Hawkins. And as you pass by, you can see another woman, dark hair, who Monkey, you actually, it's been a long time, but you recognize as Ingrid Schwartz, Axel's daughter and fiance to Harold. You are then walked to the fire exit, which opens out onto the street, and as the sun is setting, you're in like a back alley.
Can I just slow down for a moment and say, sir, I hope you don't mind. I'd like to pause here for a moment for perhaps a teaching moment. Monkey here, their dream was to be a performer, and I really hope that tonight would inspire them to turn their life around and straighten up and fly right. But I wonder if we could pause here for a moment and appreciate the inner workings of the performance industry. Maybe this will be a turning point. Do you mind if we have just a few minutes here? Critical success.
I agree. Give me a persuasion roll. Actually, You're leaning into charm territory, Jackson. You're being very charming. You don't
being
want that,
persuasive.
do you?
I'm appealing to
I agree, but at this point,
reasoning.
At this point, you are trying to be basically chummy with the gentleman and stuff. Give me a persuasion roll. You are going to need to succeed. This is trying to get a moment to, I presume,
Little
do
extra
something
cherry on
dodgy.
top.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll push it.
Oh,
Okay,
God, you're gonna get kicked out.
we will go right back. If you push it, he might begin to doubt the genuine concern you have for this child.
That's okay.
You can push it.
Oh God.
Imagine if I push it and fail, then they've like locked us in their memory, and anything bad that happens
And
tonight.
also, you're both getting booted outside now and not being allowed in.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my God. Oh dear Lord. Oh,
What?
so good. Just so bad. Fumble, crit, fumble.
But
Oh man! All
why
right.
does this happen twice?
Why
in
does this
one
happen to
session?
good people?
Crit fumble.
Okay.
Wouldn't call us good.
You try and push it, and the bloke sees through. He sees you beginning to try and like get Monkey somewhere. He sees that you're behind the scenes, and just says, "I don't think that's appropriate." You are both firmly escorted to the back exit, which is pushed open, and says, "Perhaps you'd enjoy the show from outside on the street. You will not be allowed entry." He takes your tickets, tears them, so that you can't get back in with them, and the door shuts behind you.
All
and
the
you're both
best to your
standing.
son.
You're both standing in the alley with like the rubbish around it. A rat goes scurrying past. You can see the last over towards the main street. There's a couple rushing, and laughing, excited to see the show as they go to make their way in. And the two of you have been fairly firmly banished.
Well, I hope Isabella enjoys the show.
Oh, Monkey's not there. Monkey's, Monkey's going like climbing a wall. Monkey's
Oh,
going.
okay. So you did get booted out.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
No,
all
so
right, good.
I'm not saying Monkey's not there as in Monkey's inside. I'm saying Monkey's not there as in Monkey's being like, okay, and is now scaling a wall
Okay,
to get
all right.
inside.
I do the turn around to say to Monkey, well, I hope Isabella's enjoying the show. And it's very funny. No one in the alleyway.
All right,
Oh, great.
let's
That's
go back
so
inside to Isabella briefly. You've been walked in with all the pages. You get to, there's your 3 seats at the front. You're seated. There is a gentleman 2 across from you, next to what would be Bradley's seat, who is dressed in like magician's attire, very flashy, and looking around curiously, as just taking the measure of everything, weighing the man up in his mind. What do you want to do?
Excellent. So then can I make a retroactive fast talk check to have been, during all the chaos when we were like loitering in the hall, to have been wandering around and introducing myself as a magician to people?
Sure. Yeah. Make a fast talk check.
Trying to ingratiate myself with all these people and make them think that I am.
One thing
no.
I would ask is, oh yeah,
No one
okay.
believes me. They just go, yeah.
Introduce yourself as an assistant.
Oh.
Because then you don't need to know as much technical whatever.
Oh, sure, that's a much better idea. And Isabella, as a talented fast talker, thinks of that.
Yeah. Do you want to, in that case, take a? It's probably still a fail. Actually,
Yeah, it's not a. They don't really care
gotta
or
talk to-
believe me.
Yeah. Or they also just go, all right, that's yay for you.
Good for you. Cool. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. You talked to a couple. There are people talking shop
Yep.
about magician tricks and things, but you can't really get into their circles, and they kind of close ranks a bit. They are pretty cagey with their secrets.
Yeah. I figured. Oh well, I will go in and I will enjoy the show because I figure at least one of us has to.
So you get in there and you sit down, and Monkey you never saw. Bradley you saw go tearing off somewhere, and as the lights begin to dim and the red curtain raises, there is no sign of them. What is your current intent?
I'm probably getting. So here's the thing. From a player perspective, I'm like, look, this performance is clearly critical to the plot. One of us has to be here. From a character perspective, I'm like, oh no, they've been taken. Something's happened. And I might, like, I don't know, go and try and look for them or something.
All right, yeah, I can say that.
I will give it, like, the first 10 minutes of the show, like, looking back and forth. And then I might try and make a move or something.
Okay. All right. Actually, no, let's not do that. That's just gonna be more fuel on the fire. Okay. From your perspective, then you go in and you sit down. as the curtains begin to raise. There is an acrobatic troupe on stage, a trio of what look like they're pretending at least to be triplets. They look very similar, who begin with just a juggling routine, which they then toss knives into and then escalate to flaming torches, doing cartwheels and spins and flips as they cast them back and forth. They ascend, leaping off one another and using the environment to their advantage, and people are applauding and enjoying the whole affair. They rise up into like a 3-person pyramid. The top one does like a backflip off the whole thing. All the torches are flung into the air, then caught, balanced atop their head, which they end with a flourish. Everyone stands to applaud, and as they tumble out of the way, the back curtain begins to raise. Harold Hawkins, the magician himself, is standing in front of a bare brick wall. He is dressed in a coat and tails with a tall top hat, and he looks very Hollywood movie star, very conventionally handsome. And he carries himself with charisma. He steps forward, making idle quips and remarks, humorous musings, and he mixes a little bit of comedy into his act. You can also see there are a lot of women in the audience fawning after him. It is clearly his kind of shtick, is that he's good looking. He manipulates like a billiard ball, passing it back and forth and causing it to seemingly levitate in the air, seemingly nothing. Then, makes it like he pretends to throw it, or sorry, he does throw it, but it appears elsewhere, and then it changes color, shifting in hues as he casts around it, all the while leading the audience on like a story as he does it.
Can I make a check to see if I can guess what's happening? And, I only put it up his sleeve kind of thing.
Yeah, you can make an extreme spot hidden roll.
Oh my god. Could I argue sleight of hand?
Yeah, definitely. Make a normal sleight of hand check then.
Boom, fail.
Is that a success? Yeah, no, you are not sure, unfortunately. He is good. And to your eye, you just can't watch it. You try and do the like, oh, he's clearly leading me to look over here, so I'm going to look over there, and nope, ball's not there either.
Do you want a sanity check?
As he continues this, he then throws another ball, and then begins to juggle before letting them all drop into his top hat before putting it on his head. The ball has seemingly vanished. He then does a short coin trick routine, and at this point it's been 15-20 minutes, and actually let's go outside and see if anyone else is making a nuisance of themselves. So Bradley, you don't see anyone. Looking up, I presume you could spot Monkey beginning to ascend. What's your intent?
I spot Monkey, and I do not make a nuisance of myself.
I'm attempting to be stealthy and hidden doing this, but what I'm attempting to do is get up into the rafters.
Okay, all right. So I will need there's probably a fire escape back here or something. I think it's just a normal climb check will probably get you up there at least, and then you just have to find a way through a window. Hell of a day for it. Would you like to push the roll?
21 points or a push?
There's
if you fail a push, you would just like fall or something.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to deal some damage to you.
Oh god, these rolls.
Nothing too bad, but it'll be
cruel.
you trying to make a leap and landing.
And the comedy routine from Bradley earlier be like, well, I guess you look, there's no one there, and you go,
wow.
For that potential alone, yes, I will push
It's
it on the
worth
off
it.
chance that I literally fall flat on my ass in front
Oh
of
my
that.
god.
All right, go ahead and roll again.
Oh.
Nuts. All right, it's a bit of a scramble. You have to leap, and there is enough. Bradley, you are aware that Monkey is climbing above you. You can hear the scrambling. Unless Monkey, are you specifically not trying to be seen by Bradley as well?
No, I don't super care if
okay.
Brad's.
Right.
I'm not trying to be seen by anyone who isn't friendly to me.
You get to the fire exit, and with that, the escapes can be lowered from above. So if you wanted to, you could send the ladder down to Bradley, and he could just make an ascent as well. Otherwise, you are on the fire escape, and going up to the second level, you can see you go past a window, which looks in from above at that storage room. Checking it is locked, and then on the higher thing, there is an emergency exit above.
Yeah, I'll kick the ladder down for Brad if he wants to climb up.
Very kind. I will ascend as far as is safe, but I'm not taking any risks.
What do you mean is safe?
Well,
Right,
I mean, presumably I can get up the ladder.
Yeah, it's a fire escape. You can just climb it. Like, and then there's windows.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, you are up. This is, and if you go any
Yeah.
higher than this, you're onto the roof. Like, you're good. You're on the ladder.
I'll
And on the
I'll step onto the roof, but then go no further and await further instructions from Monkey.
It's a multi-story building. The ladder has been lowered just so you can get to like that zigzagging stairs.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Monkey had to leap to that. You are now on the stairs, and on that you can see windows
Gotcha.
looking in and fire exits, which can possibly be entered. However, each
Excellent.
door you attempt so far has been locked from the outside, at least.
Well, Monkey's gone right up to the roof, right?
No, I'm
I
trying
think so.
Not
to
yet?
find a way into like
Oh.
the lighting rigs, like that level,
Gotcha.
so literally to just go perch in the lighting rigs to watch the show. Like that's
Yeah.
all Monkey's doing. Just wants to see the show, but he's doing it.
You
in a
probably
round
want to go to
level.
the roof then, right? The roof, and then find a hatch on the top of something. be a
Depends
hatch.
on potentially depends
way to
on
hatch.
how they've like whether or not it's one of the theaters with like a domed roof that everything hangs off, or whether it's like a flat with an
This is
attic or
a flat one. It's a repurposed building. These stairs go all the way up to the roof. There's no climb roll required. But as you go through it, this is reasonably secured. You will need a locksmithing or a strength roll to break down a door to get yourselves in. There's not going to be any alarms configured for it.
Huh?
There's no alarms configured for anywhere.
Yeah,
but,
I'll locksmith. I'm happy to like try and open a window or try and open a door using locksmithery.
all right, go ahead and give us a roll.
Better.
Oh, we're
Doing-
back. So which means the next thing's going to be a fail.
All right,
Just don't
yeah.
try anything else.
No one touched your dice for the rest of the session. You click open one of the doors, and as it swings ajar, you are on a second level. And as you go out into it, it's carpeted. This is the upper, like the balcony, which also looks down at the show. But walking through it, only like 2 of the booths are occupied because this show is nowhere near capacity. And the 2 of you just walk through
Amazing.
a curtain which is closed because it's not a used one, and you can take your seats and watch as the show begins. Looking down, you can see Isabella occasionally rubbernecking to see if she can spot where the 2 of you have gone. Isabella, is it time for heroism? Will you
It's
go
time
and
for
save your
heroism.
companions?
I go off to try and find an attendant to speak to.
Oh my god. All right, you see
And we
Isabella.
get settled in the box seats.
Yeah, just as you begin to
The
sit
upper
in, you
box.
see Isabella stand up and begin to go, I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm sorry, sidling their way past the long row and towards the exit as Hawkins finishes the flourish, catches the billy balls in the hat, puts it on, and then as he stands up, the curtain begins to rise again behind him, and what was previously a bare wall is now decorated to be an Arabian palace, seemingly by magic. The 2 of you saw the gear back there. They clearly just did a really quick stage set change.
Is there any chance Isabella will spot us hidden in the upper box?
Isabel can make a spot hidden roll. Otherwise, you guys could like make a throw to try and beat her with a coin, or Monkey, you've got a bunch of knives on you.
I love that you said that with a straight face. What? So if I was to attempt to throw and fail it, is that I beam someone else, or is that like I know I can't make that throw?
It can be an I know I won't. The push could be hitting someone else. That's fine. And also, it'd just be like a penny or something. Like you
Yeah,
wouldn't
but
be.
then when you
wouldn't be
roll
doing
a
anything.
100, you're accidentally picking up a knife and hitting
Yeah,
it in the back.
that's the risk. Otherwise, you guys could just stand up and try and make yourselves as visible as possible, and that will probably, no. Okay.
What's the
Alright.
worst that can happen? I go off and ask around a bit. They'll,
I'm
They
actually,
go,
like
oh, were you
little-
with them? Get out. Yeah.
I think that'd be really funny.
I just also that would be
And
an escalation.
I have some lines.
Okay, all right. And I guess Monkey, do you want to go ahead? Do you want to try and throw?
Like a little
I think like we look down and see Isabella. I'm like, Uncle Brad, should I do something about this?
grab a straw from a cup and just make a little spitball. Yeah. You've done one of those before.
You're a delinquent.
Sure. I would like, if possible. No, this isn't going to help if I roll a critical. So fuck it, let's do it.
The
Alright.
modern drinking straw made of paper was invented in 1888. So I've just confirmed that for you.
And
And
we
we
know they're
salute them.
paper because, we're environmentally friendly.
We're back to the beginning. All right, Monkey, do you want to give me a throw roll as Harold Hawkins on stage begins to launch into his It's not a fumble because you're over
Nope.
50, but it's real
Nope.
Oh my God.
close.
Nope.
Would you like to push the roll?
Nope.
Okay.
I think this one I'm just like,
Isabella,
I'm not
can you
gonna be
can you give me a luck roll?
me.
No, Isabella.
Fair.
Okay. All right. As you stand up, give me the spot hidden roll. It's going to be a hard success because they're trying not to be really spotted.
Nope.
That's sleight of hand,
Sleight of
right?
hand.
Oh, sorry, that is sleight of hand. It would have failed for a spot
Go
here
ahead.
too. So.
Yeah. So yeah, the note, unfortunately not. You stand up, begin to look around. There is no sign of the other two. And Harold Hawkins from up on stage says, "And for my next performance, I would like to take two, oh my god, I've forgotten the word.
Volunteers?
From the audience. Do I have any volunteers?" And it's as you stand up and begin to sidle your way
Oh my God.
along the thing.
Yes.
You've failed your... so the lights kind of half come on and spot you moving. Monkey and Bradley, I need you to either give me stealth checks or you can take bonus.
He's not gonna.
He
he's
will
not gonna
absolutely.
Ask,
He will
from the
absolutely.
opera box. From the opera boxes.
Oh, he absolutely will. Give me a stealth check with the bonus dice.
Wait, hold on. He's gonna see one of us and want us to be involved in the show.
Possibly.
37, 7
points
points
of luck.
off.
The other one is someone could stand up and take the hit.
Monkey, you gonna go get stealthy? I feel like it's
I
probably
mean,
a good idea.
I have stealthed, so
Oh, you did?
I am in fact stealthed.
You're good, and Bradley hunkers down. You're right. It's enough that you are not actively trying to be seen crouched down and do as much as possible to say, please don't pick me. Isabella, would you
Yes.
rather be picked or not picked?
I am whatever is more narratively interesting. I am not fussed here. So I think it's funnier if I stand up and I'm heading
so
out.
do
and
I.
they're like-
So do I.
But yeah, so I'm
So
fine
like,
to be
as
picked.
you're beginning to move past, excuse me, sorry, he goes like, "Oh, we've already got one eager volunteer, man. Why don't you come up and join me on stage?" And the light comes on and follows you as a attendant comes and like escorts you up to the stage. Another random gentleman from the crowd is Chaosium, and they both walked up. He does like, "All right, this. What's your name? Where do you come from? Wow,
hello.
sure. How was the bus getting down? Boy, are my arms tired. Woo, go East Coast. Bit of football references, comedy shtick. And then begins to give you a tour of his palace. He says, I got this vase in Morocco, and this was on my trip to Shanghai, and this one from deepest, darkest Peru, and he's just kind of, ad hocing. And then he gets to a... Oh, no.
I have been to all of those places.
You are a menace.
Can I fast talk back? Can I banter back?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Or charm. I can take either.
I think fast talk because it's specifically in the context.
and you're trying to
performance, I
match
kind of
him.
like it. Yeah, I give him as good. I'm a good volunteer.
Yeah, I think he then like riffs with you a little bit like about it, and actually you do realize this guy is pretty well traveled. He hasn't been to all of the places, but he enough that he can bluff it, and from the audience's perspective, it works, and it's working really well. And the second volunteer kind of stands a little awkwardly off to the side until Hawkins re-includes him, but you are clearly the interesting one. He suddenly goes, well in that case, I mean, maybe on one of your voyages you will have seen one of the and one of the vases is lying broken on the ground, and he goes, my precious vase, this is one of my most valuable things. It's so hard to get good help these days. He calls for his maid, and the assistant comes out on stage in a maid's outfit, and he says, for breaking this, you will need to be punished, and I'm afraid it will be most severe. And the crowd goes, ooh.
This took a turn.
A box horizontal is wheeled out, and he helps the maid up into it so she can lie down, and he says, "Sir, grasp her legs, and ma'am, hold her hands that she might not try and escape."
I do,
So
sir.
hold them. The maid looking up at you, if she senses any precaution, gives you like a wink. Like, it's all act. It's all good.
Yeah,
and
of
then
course, of course.
he leans down and he produces an immense saw, and he goes, "The punishment most severe." He begins to through the box back and forth. The maid lets out a few gasps and cries of pain. She pleads. She says, "I'm sorry. It will never happen again. I'm sorry." But she continues to scream as he looks inside. For a moment, he pales at the gruesome sight inside the box, but he can't show the audience. Instead, he spins it open and opens it to show that the woman has indeed been sawn in two as the box bends and bends. And then he leans to you and he says conspiratorially, "But it's so hard to get good help, so let's put her back." And then it's clicked together, opened up. He helps the maid back down. She's in one piece. Voila! What magic! He thanks you and the other volunteer for your time. One more last round of applause for the volunteers, and the two of you are escorted back on stage. As this happens,
Amazing.
you realize he pauses for a moment. And Monkey, did you want to say something?
I was just gonna say, Monkey's curious how all this works, because they've seen magic from the back. So I'm just wondering if I can make a sleight of hand to see if I know what's going on.
This one wouldn't be a sleight of hand. This one I could see more mechanical repair, or because this is the box that possibly does the trickery.
Okay. Would a basic spot hidden be potential like an
It would be an
option?
extreme. These guys are good and they are intentionally misleading. But yeah, you could try for it.
I'll give it a whirl.
Yeah. What's another
just
fumble?
trying to see what's going on.
Yeah, no, totally.
No.
Genuinely, you watch it, and at first you're like, oh, it's probably just a thing, but he bends it so far apart, and there doesn't seem to be space for a hidden compartment. They are very good, and they're at the cutting edge of their craft at the time. Dr. Bradley, can I get a psychology roll from you? I think you're the most suited for it. It is going to be hard because you are up a ways and
Very
out of
far
sight,
away.
but
And trying to be hidden as well. But I'll do it.
he's
Oh.
good. When Hawkins freezes, like it seems to the audience a dramatic pause. To you, it looks as though he's like blinked and forgotten where he is. You see him mutter something under his breath, and then he shakes himself from it and launches back into his act.
Okay.
Like he
Seems
was
like-
surprised by what he saw.
Not as a surprise, or as if he'd heard something, or been shaken. Something odd. He then does a few minor illusions, card tricks and things, like comedy, and then the maid returns, the assistant rather, now redressed in in a gown and stuff, and she's wheeling out these two huge wooden cabinets, which are placed on both sides of the stage, each facing towards the eaves. They are clicked open ever so slightly, and this dim, eerie glow emanates from inside of them. As this happens, Hawkins begins to launch into his spiel. Talks about how, as already established, he traveled so much abroad, and my family's here in Boston. It's always so tough to get back in time. I mean, with the jet lag and planes mess with my digestion and such time at sea, I always wished there was an easier way to travel. As this is happening, he walks along and he unbuckles hatches on the side of the boxes so that they begin to swing open. Can I get...
No volunteer?
No volunteer. He's going to perform this trick himself. Spot hidden might get you some information. Additionally... Who has the highest? Cthulhu
Psychoanalysis? That'd be me.
Cthulhu
No,
Mythos.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure there's mythos involved.
I think I'm the highest mythos as well at 12.
Dr. Bradley, would you like to make a roll? Fumbling this will have not good consequences, just a heads up.
Well, I just get an extreme success, so I'm
So
gonna fumble
you're due
it.
for, yeah.
Here we go.
I'll do it.
Here we go. Oh my god, this freaking game! What is
Far
happening?
out, dude. This is the opposite of that one cluster game we had.
Where we got
The dead
17
border.
fails in a row.
Bajillion failures. All right, nice. Okay, so you're gonna notice a couple things. Monkey.
I succeeded by spot hidden.
Yeah, so Monkey, you notice that there are what look like Egyptian stylings along the outside of the cabinet, but the whole thing has been painted black to kind of mask that. They now just look like black boxes. Kind of a bit boring, actually. A bit tacky. As Hawkins finishes his spiel, and he says, I always wished there was a quicker way to channel, and well, that's why I invented these. he takes a running leap, jumps into one box on one side of the stage, and immediately emerges from the other one with a flourish. The crowd erupts in applause, and Isabella, from where you've been reseated, the magician, just along from you, is like shaking his head in bewilderment as he's done it. And you can hear him muttering under his breath. He goes, he's done it again. I don't understand. And he's looking around. He's trying to figure out how the trick is done, and he can't seem to figure it out. Bradley, you've been doing some research. You've got a couple of tomes up your sleeve at this point. You've begun to dig into the mythos. You actually recognize what these things are from a book you read about sort of theoretical devices. And actually, there's said to be some of these boxes elsewhere. These are something called gate boxes. And what they do is you step into one side and you immediately teleport and emerge from the other. They can be created and they can go over great distances, and they allow you to just go in one, out the other. Each one costs you some sanity and some magic, but that is a mythos invention that he has on the stage, and he's using it to perform magical tricks. Clearly the mythos is involved, and that's absolutely been confirmed for you. He lands on the other side of it, holds his hand aloft and takes a bow as people begin to laugh. That was kind of like the not the climactic piece, but one of the biggest ones. And as he does, this time he pauses at the deepest point of his bow. And Bradley, this time without even a roll, you can see he's shaken. And he pauses. And when he comes back up from the bow, he blinks and he looks confused. And like he's muttering under his breath, and he looks up to as if he's heard something. It takes him so long to break out of this that his assistant has to come back on stage and kind of prod him as she gets the boxes, and she and he pulls him back together and he goes right, and he launches back into the act. But there was a visible stumble. The boxes are wheeled off and the final act is prepared. A table is brought out onto the center, and he has the assistant lie down on it. He begins to talk about how, it's his poor, long-suffering assistant. She has to suffer his demands and the long travel and things. And every now and then he likes to take a weight off her shoulders, make things easier for her. And so she begins to levitate. And he holds his hands back, and she begins to, a good foot off the table, begins to rise up. He reaches under and he withdraws a brass hoop, and he goes, and to show that there's no trick wires, and he spins it around. He passes it under her. Ooh. He passes it over her. Ooh. He passes it across her. Impossible! The crowd's loving it. And then as he finishes it, you can almost hear it ting, and her head drops. Clearly whatever was suspending her breaks, smacks into the table, and she tumbles off. Hawkins pauses. The crowd doesn't know if it's part of the act, and then as blood begins to pool from her, he stutters, and the curtains begin to shift closed.
Oh, God.
What does everyone do?
So good.
What are immediate instincts?
I'm going to get out to avoid a stampede or something like that. Head towards the stage if I can, but if people are like rushing the stage, I try to make sure that the place evacuates so that this woman can be brought to medical attention as quickly as possible.
Okay, all right. So you're getting away and letting people begin to move past you. Monkey, Bradley, are you making to immediately bail or anything? I see no immediate intents.
I was possibly gonna hop over the balcony and get down to that level.
Okay. All right. So you might make your way down, Bradley.
Probably the lighting rig.
Yikes. I was gonna try to keep up with Monkey, but that's not happening. I will just duck back into the corridor, I guess, and get a read on the situation. Yeah, maybe fade into the crowd.
Okay. Yeah,
so
because there are a couple of people up on this level that are beginning to make your way out. So as people begin to flood out, Monkey, you get to the top and begin to, you're angling a way down to see if you can find a way along the lighting rig first. The maitre d', whatever they're called, the bloke that kind of organizes the event, comes back out on stage, and he stands, as people are beginning, like, mill around, start beginning to go, he says, I am terribly sorry. I'm afraid there has been a rather nasty accident. If everyone can please make their exits to the left and right. That has been your show for the evening. If there is a doctor in the audience, could they please step forward? We could use your help right now. And people begin to make their way out.
Bradley.
Was this manager the same one I just had a run-in with?
Not this one, no.
No?
That was just for
Alright.
security. Yeah, word may have traveled.
man. Get down there.
I'll step forward and raise my hand.
You raise your hand, and he looks up to the and says, sir, if you could please make your way to the back. Thank you. And then he disappears back behind the curtain.
Seeing Bradley raise his hand, I'll go to join him.
Okay, yeah. All right. You can head up onto the stage, and actually, he's all the way up. Do you just head towards the stage to get in as well?
Yeah. I'll reconvene there.
Okay, all right. The person, you have a quick thing saying, you know, I'm sorry, I'm with that man. Can I come through? And it's easily explained, and you can push past. Monkey, if you want to go with Bradley as well, or are you going to try and make your own way?
I would.
Monkey's in the ceiling, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I wouldn't mind being able to get a vantage point on what's going on backstage before people who aren't part of the scene arrive, and things might get, like, hidden. So I'm kind of sticky beaking.
Okay, do you want to give me a stealth roll?
Absolutely.
And I'm factoring in your huge climb skill, like if you succeed. Yeah, all right. You like clamber along the eaves, and you are currently hidden. You can make your way towards the back, and you get above where the curtains run across, and you are crouched looking down at them. Bradley, you are escorted down by one of the different assistants. So far, you haven't had a run-in with them, but it is only a matter of time before you meet one of the two people that you have angered. The assistant is laid out on the table. There is no sign of Harold Hawkins, and Isabella has just been walked into the room by the maitre d' as well. He has like gotten up her head, and he's like put her on a like a blanket or something, and one of the other the stage hands is running to go and fetch an ambulance as quickly as possible. The organizer comes forward to you as well and says, please, if you wouldn't mind.
Of course. I'll give you a first aid roll.
Go for it.
I have some training in first aid. Can I provide advantage?
Hell yeah, take a bonus dice.
Outstanding. Not bad. 30 regular success.
Okay.
Do I need a hard?
No. A quick look at it. You can see what happens. She still has obscured in her uniform, but now that you're close enough and the light isn't favorable, you can see the thin wires that were suspending her and raising her up to the ceiling. But how did the hoop go over her? We'll never know. It looks as though one of them snapped, and she slammed her head against the side of the table. It's bad. She needs to go to the hospital. She will be okay. You do some basic, like you bandage the head and everything, and you make sure that she's all right. And then you stay with her for a bit as she kind of semi-lucid waits for the ambulance to come. As this happens, Harold returns after a bit, and he comes out and he walks over to the assistant, and he like clasps her hand. He goes, I'm so terribly sorry. I should have checked everything 100 times. I will come and see you at the hospital as soon as I am able. She's kind of out of it, but she's going like, it's, you know, these things happen.
This assistant wasn't Ingrid, was it?
It is not. It is not Ingrid. It is. Her name is Edith. She has not been met previously. As he does it, he looks over to you, Bradley, and he says, "Doctor, I'm so grateful you were here and in the audience. Thank you again for all of your help."
My pleasure. I only regret that your show was cut short, but as far as I can tell, she'll be fine when she gets to the hospital.
I'm very grateful. I'm just glad you were in the audience. And you're with the gentleman, are you?
That's right. Yes.
My associate.
Pleasure to meet you. Listen, it's the least I could do, and I don't want to presume, but if you'd like to get to have a chat, a private meeting, a drink or coffee, I don't know. I'm very grateful for your help.
That would be wonderful.
Pleasure.
Perhaps after, once the morning has come.
Yes.
I'll give him my card. My card.
Okay. You take their card, and he did yes, and he produces his own with remarkably more flourish. He's still somber. This is just second nature for him. He does a cool little trick, and then he hands it over to you. And you have the name, and the address would be for his like manager, not his home address. Same for the phone number on the back. But he says,
does he have the same manager as
No,
okay.
it's a different one. He says, if you give them a call, I'm sure we can arrange to be in touch. I would love to thank you more personally. If you'll excuse me, it's been a night. And he nods to you and excuses himself towards the back room.
A safe travel home. I don't know. I was trying to safe travel through those strange roads and pathways. Dark pathways, dark alleys, dark pathways that lead us where we want to go.
I look across at Bradley very confused.
Who's having a
It's not
stroke.
subtle, but it's the best Bradley can do.
Bradley, do you smell burnt toast?
Are you trying to let him know that you know that he knows that the mythos, that etc.?
Not so far, but I want to see if I get a reaction. Like,
Okay,
I don't want to say
make-
I know that you know, but I want to see what happens.
Make a fast talk.
Yeah, no.
You can make a psychology roll. You
was
could try and get a read on him. That's more your skill set anyway.
I will,
But-
yeah.
but that-
psychoanalysis.
you
to
saying
see,
that he kind of-
psychoanalysis to see if he's still suffering from the sanity loss.
Typically, psychology is more like determining the vibe and stuff. Psychoanalysis would be like treating or diagnosing him. It could apply if you want to see like what specifically.
That's what I was thinking.
I could see that. Yeah, go for it.
He's like, I get the impression he's suffered, mechanical Call of Cthulhu sanity loss to him.
Hey, that's pretty good. Okay. This man is
Bout of madness.
not currently, and I'm not going to give you the exact. He is exhausted. He has
What about
deep
for a single
rings
point of luck
under his.
for a hard success?
Genuinely, a hard will give you more information if you want to spend the 1 point.
I'll
of
do
luck.
it.
All right.
Absolutely.
Single point.
Kinda. So this man is exhausted. He has heavy rings under his eyes. He has a ever so slight tremor in one of his hands, and were it not for the stage makeup, you can see that he's out of sorts and probably has been for some time. This is not a today's been a bad day. This has been this month, possibly this year's kind of sucked for him. He's thinner than he probably would like to be, and you can just detect that slight twitchiness looking around. Yeah, he's a little frayed on the edges. Mechanically, his sanity has been reduced. Yes, on time. He's not currently insane though. He has his faculties about him.
Good.
And your strange road things is cut short as he goes, yes, and to you, and kind of makes it depart.
All right.
So we will wrap the session shortly. Can I get intent from everyone? What are you moving to do? Are we remaining at the theater for a moment to have a snoop? Are we retiring for the evening?
I wanted to try and, because I saw Ingrid in the back, and I wanted
did.
to see if that was someone who was still floating around, and possibly to like say hello, because I haven't seen her in a while, and just kind of say hi.
Absolutely.
You know,
All right.
that was what I was sort of trying to do when all that was going on. Let's see if I
Nope.
could see Ingrid.
Definitely. So you will begin to make your way and find Ingrid. She is still nearby, and she is currently looking out for a fiance who she is worried may be hurt. So she will be nearby, and we can have a conversation. Bradley and Isabella, I guess, at least hang around until Monkey reappears.
Yeah, got to stay with Edith until the ambulance comes, but also like maybe get a closer look at them boxes.
Okay. All right. We got some snooping afoot then. All
Either
right.
myself or Isabella, sending Isabella to take a look.
All right, I'm excited. So then, as we wrap this session, Monkey clambers through the rafters, making their way to the backstage where Ingrid Schwartz is waiting for her fiancé. She's worried that he's not quite well and wants to check on him. Bradley stands next to Edith, who will be okay, but she's been wounded. And backstage, several of the guards which have kicked you out, not once but twice now, are looming. It's a matter of time before we run into one of those again and have to resolve that situation. Isabella sits nearby, and you watch as the two large wardrobes, identified by Bradley, not yet to you, as gate boxes, are carted backstage where they will be stored with his other magician accoutrement, guarded by two dirty, great big Rottweilers. Getting a look at those might not be quite as easy as one would hope. Elsewhere, other things are afoot. There's an assistant, there's more magicians, and Memphis the Great has not yet been seen. But all of that will probably be resolved next session. Good shit, gang. All right.
Outstanding.
That's great.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Dave.
you. Thank you for playing. Thank you for watching. This will be up on the YouTube shortly. Check it out, and we will be back next week as we jump into the second session of House of Memphis. We're only just getting started. So, thanks. I'll see you later. Bye.
I dig it.